As you guys know, the big, stupid, beautiful, bad, destructive bill passed the Senate. It's going to go back down to the House now for them to make some other changes to it. Potentially, many of them are not happy. But there's one senator that voted in favor of this bill that also isn't happy.
Senator Paul said that that your vote was a bailout for Alaska at the expense of the rest of the country.
Oh my God.
That's what Senator Paul said.
The question was easy.
Senator, we've got the.
I didn't say it, ma'am. I'm just asking for your response.
My response is I have an obligation to the people of the state of Alaska. And I live up to that every single day. I fight for my state's interests, and I make sure that Alaskans are understood. I work hard to take care of a state that has more unique situations, more unique people, and it's just different. And so when people suggest that federal dollars go to one of our 50 states in a, quote, bailout, I find that offensive. I advocated for my state's interests. I will continue to do that, and I will make no excuses for doing that. Do I like this bill? No, because I tried to take care of Alaska's interests. But I know that in many parts of the country, there are Americans that are not going to be advantaged by this bill. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that we moved through an artificial deadline, an artificial timeline to produce something to meet a deadline rather than to actually try to produce the best bill for the country. But when I saw the direction that this is going, you can either say, I don't like it, and not try to help my state, or you can roll up your sleeves.
That's Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. First off, walked up to the reporter and had a stare down with him because he asked her, Rand Paul, your fellow Republican, basically said you sold out for this bill. Because, by the way, as I read, Vice President J.D. Vance had to come in and break the tie. Also, Lisa Murkowski had to be one of the Republicans to vote on board to make it one of those 50-50 ties where the vice president has to come in and break the tie, obviously, and vote in favor of the Republican bill. But she was offended by the talk of a bailout coming for her state because, by the way, she was bribed into voting for this for a small giveaway to some folks in her state, as she also complained about how this bill, she openly said it, she doesn't like it, and she knows that there are a lot of Americans that are not going to be advantaged by this bill. And she doesn't like that. She doesn't like it, but she'll still be the one to help it happen. I don't like that I'm destroying your life, but you know what? I kind of had to destroy your life. Just one of those things I kind of had to do because she saw the direction that this was going on, this artificial timeline for this artificial deadline, but she still had to do it. She saw where it was going. Where it was going was actually, if you voted against it, was going against it. And if other folks had any kind of guts, it would also be against it if it's going against it. And if that July 4th deadline is an artificial timeline, why are you following it? Let's talk about things that she told Katie Couric before about the way the Republicans are supposed to act towards this president. This is the reasons why some people thought maybe Lisa Murkowski would be one of the people who does something different.
I don't mean to be pushy. Here I am in your living room, Senator, but I don't feel like you really answered the question. Do you think he's more dangerous? Yes, he is taking more liberties. He's pushing the envelope. Do you think it's dangerous what he's doing?
It could be dangerous if the Congress decides, if the Republican majority in the House and Senate decide that the ends justifies the means, and we're good with the goals, and so we're okay with how he is utilizing emergency powers. If we are okay without checking him, then I think yes,
Well,
Yes.
they haven't exactly done that. They haven't exactly
No,
checked his.
they've turned to the courts, haven't they?
I mean, so Congress, I mean, I don't, personally, I don't see a lot of profiles in courage. I don't see a lot of people challenging him. And you say if. Isn't that happening already?
We are not, I would rather challenge us in the Congress to assert our role and our responsibility than to just condemn the actions of the president and get nowhere. Yes, you are the president. Yes, you are the executive, but we are the check. We have to be the check. We have not been the check, in my view.
They have not been the check in Lisa Murkowski's view. So therefore, Lisa Murkowski needing to be the check on the president, who she said would be out of control if Congress didn't exercise their check over the executive and do something about it. As she then goes and says, I hate everything that he's doing, but I have to keep doing it because I'm not a check on this president who's now out of control. So if she's okay with them not checking him, but also against everything he does, why is she there? Why is she there at all? When is she going to assert that responsibility over the executive that she was just talking about with Katie Couric? I mean, that was a few weeks ago. So, I mean, I guess things changed. What changed was what they then tried to, what not even tried, what they said they would give her for her troubles. They tossed it in there. Representative Neguse here, Joe Neguse, Democrat, talked about the things that Lisa Murkowski, reasons why she straight up sold out.
A new tax break for whalers, right? Am I?
Are you talking about allowing someone who
Fishermen.
uses a harpoon to deduct the cost of that harpoon?
Correct.
That's included. It's a business expense.
It's a new tax break,
It's
right?
a business expense that was capped at $10,000, and now they can deduct it.
Up to $50,000, right?
Yes.
Yes. Why was that added? I think we all know.
You would
right?
have to talk to the senators.
I'd have to talk to the senators. I don't know. It was kind of convenient, Chairman Smith, that was the one addition that you omitted from that list you provided. But I think I would
Probably more that I
well,
left off
that may
here.
be the case. I think it's emblematic of the broken process that the Senate engaged in. That as we go through this 900-page bill, we will find a variety of different provisions that different senators inserted for their own purposes. And of course, one of them was this whaling tax deduction for the 160 or so people that will be able to claim that in the state of Alaska, so that one of the senators from Alaska would feel comfortable voting for the bill.
Representative Joe Neguse pointed out that Lisa Murkowski sold out and voted in favor because they told her that she gets this tax credit for 160 whalers and their harpoons, I guess, that the guy was explaining, it said harpins. I'm not sure. I'm not in the whaling industry. But apparently something like people were speculating they meant harpoons. Either way, it was a business tax, and there's this level they can get up to. That's what they gave her. That's what she said she had to look out for the people of her state in order to sell out the entire rest of the country in order to get. That's what they gave her. And therefore, she had no choice. Her hands were tied. Besides that whole thing about the 160 whalers that get an extra tax break for this legislation, there's another aspect that Lisa Murkowski told us months ago is actually the reasons why she's so afraid.
We're in a time and a place where I don't know, I certainly have not, I have not been here before. And I'll tell you, I'm oftentimes very anxious myself about using my voice, because retaliation is real, and that's not right. But that's what you've asked me to do. And so I'm going to use my voice to the best of my ability. And sometimes it will be viewed in a way that, well, that's pretty confrontational. And other times it's going to be using my mother's charm.
Okay. At least she told them. This was months ago during her town hall. She talked to her constituents, and apparently she gets anxiety over having to do something. Hey, I have a good idea. If you have too much anxiety over doing your job, don't show up to work anymore. Resign. Take your ass back home. It's very simple. Yo, think about how people work at McDonald's, bro. You be like, listen, I can't do the fryer. Tell the supervisor, I can't work the fryer. You know, sometimes it pops out, and I get a little anxiety over that. Sorry. Okay, we'll put you on register. But you know what? The buttons on the register are kind of dirty. You know how many people have touched that? I'm a bit of a germaphobe. I'm afraid of the germs on that. Okay, fine. Clean the outside, clean the tables. I think I saw a little kid over there. He had a little bit of a puking session. I don't really want to touch that. You remember, I'm a germaphobe. Eventually, your ass gets fired from McDonald's for not doing the job. But for some reason, when you make tons of money as a U.S. Senator for years, you can be afraid of doing the job, and you can tell your customers, your constituents that. And when you do it, it's just supposed to be accepted as you go along and continue to screw things up. This is a bigger job than just working McDonald's. At least they can get someone else to work the damn fryer, or you can go down the street to Burger King, wherever the hell else you may work. Maybe work at Subway so you don't have to work with the fryers. But as a U.S. Senator, you destroy other people's lives because you're supposed to represent their positions. But instead, she's afraid of doing her job. And then where she gets some courage, where she stands up strong, is when a reporter asks her, why you're not doing your damn job. Isn't that weird?